What's going on, guys? Again, intellectual conversation with Gabriel, being recorded via a smartphone device. So a really beautiful, beautiful time to be alive, and the likes. But a few breadth of conversation that I wanted to delve into and divulge. Just with time, thinking in the likes. There's been some generalized truths, throughout history, and history tends to repeat itself in the likes, but not in always the general senses that we think. Sometimes it's more so the generalized idea that especially in a capitalistic democracy of the likes, which is what I'm accustomed to in the likes. Although society in general, all over the whole globe, is just really like it's summed up in like this perspective that's not really necessarily would be pronounced by economists, but that is pimps and hoes, man. And that's a terrible, terrible way to look at it. But in the same guideline, I just want to emphasize that principle idealism, of looking at it, that particular way to look at it, because in that facet, you won't be out here getting pimped, you know what I mean? I think that's very, very valuable. And that relates into a lot of gamuts, and the likes. I have a music company and the likes, and a studio and the likes, and for what it's worth, to all the musicians out there aspiring in the likes, it can be a very cutthroat, and it's a saturated market. It's really a listener's market, because there's so many people putting out music, and music, like, for the intelligent among us, is not that expensive to put out in the likes, and distribution deals are readily available and accessible. And although the independent route is less assuring than the actual machine behind you, a machine as big as something like Warner Brother or the likes, it's totally more plausible and more prideful to take a more so going to create your own massive machine in the likes, because these massive machines were created in the sense that they were small machines that were systems. Systems are really how you get rich, but they're small systems once upon a time, and now they've grown into massive machinery that can totally manufacture something that's not even there. So that's an idea that's kind of far-fetched and hard to fathom, but it's generally very, very true. And again, I want to emphasize the music industry, because I was just coinedly, that's not probably a word, but I love to say it. Coinedly, what it amounts to is literally that what a finance professor emphasized was, again, the idea that it's pimps and hoes out here, and it's been emphasized by several people throughout history. But again, as far as music industry, it's just like you have especially with some of these niche markets where they're just like, it's like one hit wonder type philosophies, and they just roll behind this one hit wonder, this buzz, this viral effect that was able to be stimulated by the artist, and sometimes that's like winning the lottery, and that's obviously something you shouldn't bank on. It's more steadily to be calm and steady, and just keep trucking, keep building, keep using compound interest to your advantage, keep expanding your networks, keep expanding your business, keep expanding your relationships. And the likes, which is going to be the surest shot at, and keep expanding your mind in the likes, which is going to be your surest, in your art and your craft, is going to be your surest shot, rather than so winning the lottery or this or that. Although there is mechanisms to encourage it, but still nonetheless, slow and steady has been suggested to sometimes win the race. You know what I mean? So keep it cool, keep it kosher, but at the same token, you don't want to be out here getting pimped. And at the same token, as many artists in the game have suggested, you don't want to focus on, maybe that Rolls Royce before you've literally, acquired some, what's made the most millionaires globally and domestically, real estate and likes. That's a safe bet, especially with these surpluses of cash reserves that a lot of artists incur, just starting off on that viral effect of that one hit wonder effect. They could literally be set up. This is more in tune with the hip hop, because there's a lot of financial illiteracy. It's been really devastating for the community and the likes. As far as seeing so much money, and it's also in sports and the likes too. But having the opportunity to expand yourself to the world and showcase your art for a profit, that's a majority of a lot of people's dreams, and they never get to achieve those dreams. So if you or me or anybody gets to achieve those dreams, we got to take that with great responsibility. At the same token, because Um, there's just better ways to spend your money and craft yourself because, as has been suggested, there's a million people out here, no matter who you are, wanting your spot and likes, so, you want to prepare yourself to just be a boss long term and not just flashy short term. I think that's very, very valuable, and that's some of the game that I would share with my upcoming artists and the likes, plus a lot more consultation and the likes about, just how we got to operate this thing to create a machine that's manufacturing itself in the artists, and also just genuinely showcasing true talent and the likes to the highest extent. And at the same token, and also being straight forever, not just having to depend on something that might not be around forever. Sometimes faucets do run dry. That's why you want to have, as has been elaborated, the average millionaire has 8 faucets, all pouring or dripping water, and once one faucet starts to only drip and is no longer flooding the whole tsunami in the whole fucking top floor of the fucking Trump Towers, then and you've been buying fucking $500,000 custom chains and shit like they did in the 90s. This is more so. This is not directed at any one person, but this is just a generalization. Like in the 90s, it was a crazy time, or 80s or something. They were buying like $300,000 chains that were literally like customized. So it's like they overpaid past what the gold value market was, and then also no one wants to buy a custom chain once a rapper's or an artist is no longer popping, so to speak. If it's just one of these one-hit wonder rappers and not like they haven't earned their keep to be the staple, as far as like one of the greatest of all time, So I think that's very, very valuable sentiments. It's something I would share just on the house, just get you thinking. And for the kids out there aspiring to do something with music or the likes, sometimes DIY pioneer, doing it yourself, and earning your keep and earning that partnership. Because what's the in sales, even as a sales manager, as a salesman or the likes, what's the closest and most valuable form of selling? That's partnership selling. So having partnerships with your clientele and the likes, and also with your distributors, and also with your the machine behind you, as far as the labels and the likes, as far as that, that's where you want to come in with a principal point of having a brain on you. And that's why I never emphasize that you stop reading in the likes, because is this gonna make you more valuable and more spectacular and have more longevity, because music, not everybody has genius forever, and the likes, and not everybody has longevity to keep the fans might not love you forever, by society, in the book I'm starting to write, I've suggested that society and the likes is very, very fickle. They'll love you 1 minute, hate you 1 minute, and what's the difference between love and hate? Perhaps a very, very thin line. So it's all sentiments to keep in perspective. And philosophically, it's about longevity and the likes. And I think that you don't want to be out here getting pimped. You can get written a multi-million-dollar check and still get pimped. You know what I mean? As far as you burn through the money. Don't use it to acquire assets and capitalization of tools to totally capitalize on your opportunities out here, and real estate and the likes. Then you spend all your money, and then then you're no longer hot. The fans no longer love you. They're no longer buying your shit, and your ass is out here getting pimped. So I think it's something you want to avoid, and just be smart. So that's one sentiment, but I did have some principal points I wanted to talk about that were even more kosher. That was just a thought that I thought was worth sharing. And what's as an artist has suggested, what's the use of knowing better if I didn't tell them anything? So that's something I tell anybody that's going to be working with me to help me live my dreams, which is the executory positioning of enjoying other people's music and the likes, and heading towards publishing and distribution and the likes, and just working the best deals and partnering with everybody to just create people that have longevity. Even long after the music stops and the curtains close and the fans don't remember your name. So it's cutthroat game out here, and I know not everybody can take it to the extent that literally they're the largest artist in the whole. I mean, they can be the largest artist in the game for their time to shine. Everybody has their time to shine, but it's about longevity. And that's this real game, and that's something that's going to take you very, very far. But again, back to the points I wanted to discuss. I wrote out some points because, as it's been elaborated, they say cash is king. I mean, I really like that. Cash is good. I love some cash, but at this point in the game, as technology has increased and inclined, and you don't want to roll around with lots of cash in your pocket all the time, unless you're fucking in hip hop, baby. No, I kid. But literally, as is someone else's point, maybe on these cards, these charge cards, credit cards, and debit cards or whatever, cash back is now king. Cash back and rewards points and the likes, is king. And this is pretty cool, and this is the big homies out here. AMEX. AMEX is developing. I'm not sure if it's already been released, but I'm sure it has been because these things come out so fast. You don't hear about it till it's already been out here for a little while experimenting, but you probably haven't heard of it yet. And it's called, AMEX's new card is called, let me see, I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't write it down. I think it's called Cash Magnet. Cash Magnet. That's from my memory. I didn't write it down. I just took a quick note, scribble, and I can't read my own handwriting at times, so I'm a real disgrace. But I think it's called Cash Magnet. And what's so cool about this card, it kind of relates to a lot of the other cards that are kind of in the other markets by other providers, which is literally like other corporation conglomerates, and which is, kind of like the 1.5 unlimited cash back on all purchases, and it's uncapped and the likes. A lot of cards that aren't that like magnificent offer that feature, which is actually a pretty cool feature. It's like a 1.5% discount on everything you buy. As long as you're not don't get into the habit of overspending just because your card allows for it. So that's cool. And at the same time, that's not the best part of this card because that's not very high. As some of the other charge cards and the likes have offered 3% on travel and and more percents on dining and grocery stores and gas and the likes. Sometimes sometimes at a cost though. You got to pay a surcharge to get access to this card. So there's lots of opportunity out here, but for real, I wanted to talk about this new card. And what's cool about this card, which made me want to spawn this conversation about it, is literally just that. That is, it's a charge. I think it was referenced as a charge card, and charge cards have literally been referred to as antiquated and the likes. Only a certain demographic are into them, and it's kind of the older school cats, and the likes. But this card may be a charge card, but it also offers the pay it now. So you pay like portion of your bill now, like that cup of coffee you just got, and also it has a planet, so you can perhaps like if you make a larger end purchase and you want to make it in 3 payments, no interest. I think the card might offer and incentivize you to make have a choice on your interface to literally, like if you buy a $1,000 couch or the likes, you can literally make 3 payments of whatever that would be, $333.33 or whatever. If I did the math right, I don't know, man. My math is poor these days, but for what it's worth, and that's a very, very cool feature, and the likes. So keep it in mind. But again, cash can be king because cards can cause you to overspend in the likes, and not everybody's in that demographic. But if you be a fucking grown adult and be fucking responsible, then there's more to gain than there is to lose, But obviously, not everybody's gonna be in that gamut. You know what I mean? So very, very true. And this alludes to the next subject, which is what I wrote down, and that literally is that Americans are again spending like crazy, like they ever stopped, right? Have Americans ever stopped spending like crazy? No, I guess suggestively they were saving more for a temporary period. But again, now that unemployment is at its lowest, and also, the economy's appearing, and half that is consumer sentiments, but it's appearing strong, and everything is appearing okay and good, and Trump is giving the 2 thumbs up, you know, and he's bragging about it, all these deals he's doing, which is all good, you know. So it's all very, very clever and the likes. But yeah, they're spending like crazy, and I guess it's been forecasted that during this 2018 year, I think this is by, don't quote me because this was a speed read. I just glanced over some of the facts and the likes. It was I think it's called Barclay. It's a bank or the likes. You know, they have a forecast that literally the economy of 2018 in America is going to grow by a raised 3.5% expansion, but expand at 3.5%. But at the same token, that's up from their original forecast of 3%. But this is just forecast and likes, and what 3% versus 3.5%. You know, it's all in the same gamut and the likes. So you know, it's good that things are expanding and things are moving. I mean, it's not the most crazy thing in the world, but you know, still sometimes you want to understand these numbers and the likes and just get a grasp on how things are looking, and also encourage consumer sentiments, which is really 30% of what it actually becomes, is because what we think it may become. Mind fucking blown, baby. Mind fucking blown, dude. So, hey, I appreciate you checking in. This has been Intellectual Conversation with Gabriel. I hope this wasn't too profound, too unnerving. But check out this card, Cash Magnet. Do a little bit more research into it, because I didn't do much research into it. But at this point, it seems like a cool feature for some people. I don't know how stickler there are on the restrictions and the liquidity of getting the card, but you know, AMEX does have higher standards and the likes for a lot of its luxury consumer cards and the likes. But nonetheless, I'm sure this card you know, could be used for good if you be responsible and work deals with that company, that conglomerate, and just check it out. It's worth checking out, and it's worth noting. That's to say the very fucking least. Okay, so we'll talk very, very soon. Again, this has been Intellectual Conversation with Gabriel, and we'll talk very, very soon. I want to thank you for checking in. And of course, this is Intellectual Conversation with Gabriel. We'll talk very, very soon. Let's live richer, fuller, more prosperous, and more fulfilling lives. And until next time, peace.